and welcome to Buzz Banter, where today, Das Hat,
Sam,
Maya, Vernon,
we'll all be talking about E3. So, let's start things off with the grandfather of our, at least our generation's main contributor for video gaming, Nintendo.
starting off with the last conference first. So basically, Nintendo, I watched that whole thing as soon as it came live. Nintendo talked right off the bat a lot about the Wii U. Actually, right off the bat, Pikmin 3.
That was a surprise.
Probably the best opening to all of the conferences was the Pikmin 3 with Miyamoto, because Miyamoto is awesome. Anything he does is like gold.
It really is, which is kind of odd, because a lot of the stuff that he does is he's done before.
It's true, but that kind of goes back into our whole innovation and iteration
yeah.
thing.
Very true.
And because he's just, he's basically perfected what he's done. But Pikmin 3, I don't know.
Which no one saw coming. I think that's the big thing, because prior to this conference, there was no talk at all
but everyone,
about the Pikmin game.
Everyone wanted Pikmin 3, because Pikmin was such a fun game, and Pikmin was like one of the reasons to buy like the GameCube when it first came out, because it was a launch title for the GameCube.
Exactly.
And it actually makes a lot of sense, because for them to do Pikmin 3, because they had a lot of success with, Pikmin as a launch title. It's a really good launch title.
Well, considering he's a character that got into Smash Bros. Brawl and a character like Mega Man wasn't, despite it would probably just be a clone of Samus, but whatever.
The multiplayer looks good in it. I mean, it's kind of like multiplayer. You can have multiple leader guys.
Right.
And,
what was his name? Olimar.
Olimar.
So,
actually, Olimar was surprisingly
Olimar,
absent. He even said, like, we're not going to say anything, but Olimar is kind of missing in this.
So it should be easy. Maybe it's just like about a rescue party that's come to find Olimar and everything, and they're like raising up the Pikmin.
Using the rock Pikmin, which we got new Pikmin.
Yes, it's a nice change of pace. Let's see exactly how they expand on it, and let's see how well they use the Wii U, because that was the thing that really...
Yeah, but the thing with Nintendo is, and this has been happening as soon as the Wii came out too, there was so much hype around that, everyone thought it would be so good, and you know how quickly that fell apart. Like Nintendo, like ever since the 64, I think was their last, like maybe the GameCube.
GameCube was good.
Yeah, GameCube was good. Was their last like good console, and ever since then, like they've sort of been like.
Which really was only one console ago, but
the Wii was
It was
good
two
in the
consoles.
opening
Well, yeah,
when it
one
first came out with the Wii Fit and all these new peripherals, but not everybody copies them, so that's why they've stopped.
well, it's not just that everybody copies
They
them.
also
Like
didn't
you
have any games that could fully use
Exactly.
the potential of
They
the
lost all their third-party support. They were supposed to get like an Assassin, even with the 3DS, they were supposed to get an Assassin's Creed game.
Which they will be getting now.
They'll be getting it now, but there was like 3 really big titles. The biggest one being Assassin's Creed for like even the 3DS. They just lost it. They're like, okay, we're not doing this. No, not only was nobody buying the 3DS right away, but it's just like, this is not good for our game. Like the platform that it was. Same with like the waggling the controls, because you can only really do so much with the Wii remote. Now the Wii U looks a little bit more interesting, because not only were they showing the tablet, and you can use 2 of those tablets to a Wii U game, but you also have now the Pro controller, which is basically an Xbox controller, but you switch like both thumbsticks are on top. So now they actually have a real controller. So now I can actually play like games like Black Ops or
Monster Hunter.
Hunter.
I never have to do the claw again.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I mean, and you get to do new things. Plus, with this new tablet game controller, you now have isometric gameplay, and it actually looked really fun, but maybe more fun for the people who aren't using it. But
here's the thing: it's fun when you see it when they put it on the screen and everything's simulated. When the Wii first came out and you saw Wii Tennis and everything, you saw people playing that game and you were just like, that's amazing. This should be a lot of fun. And then you actually played it and you realize, wait a minute, you don't actually have to be standing. You're not moving your character around. They're doing that on their own.
Yeah.
This is actually quite boring.
Yeah, because you could sit down and play it, and you're just like.
Exactly.
But physically, it was innovative in its when it first came out.
It was innovative.
it was very
There
innovative.
was
yeah.
it was such a far removal of from like Dance Dance Revolution, where you only had the arrows. You can suddenly move the top half of your body too.
Exactly.
That's why it was interesting when it came out. But now
It was interesting when it came out, but the problem that became immediately apparent was that you had some very serious control issues. Games would come out and you would play them going, I can come up with a better button layout and control scheme with this controller than this game came up with. And I'm half the age of the people that made this.
You mean the Wii U or the Wii?
The Wii.
Oh.
This is
Yeah.
one of the plus points of the Wii U, because you have that full sort of Xbox controller with a screen in the middle.
And you have an actual controller, like just a basic controller.
It is a well and
And
proper controller.
I don't know, Rayman Legends, they were actually showing the isometric view. Basically what happened was, whoever the two people had a pro controller, and apparently you can go up to 5 people with this. The 2 people will play like Lowbox and Rayman,
Right.
and then the one person would play a new character, I forget his name, because I only heard it the one time, and basically what he'd do, you don't actually move him traditionally, you would use the touch screen, and what he would do 2 things. You either swipe it along the little things you collect, and they're worth double, and you would use them to tap these like things, and you almost tapped it in rhythm to the background music that the game played, and it would open up all these things. Like I think one thing that they were a little bit, but one of the things was like he pulls out like a carrot and it becomes like a bridge for the guys, or he has to like turn this spiky thing, so he opens up a path and he has to turn it as the other characters move. Like it's really amazing.
Well, realistically, like collecting all of this stuff is a very nice way to get younger gamers who want to play with everybody else. Just my own experience, my brother and I, we've got like little kids over. He and I are playing Halo, they want to play as well, but you know they're not going to have the same fun of it because they're just going to be running into a wall the entire time. Actually having them with a sort of casual game within this more robust game, so essentially doing Ninja Fruit, collecting these things for double points and everything, it keeps the younger crowd entertained, it balances it out. It's a good idea, but we've seen this before.
Something to do with your little brother.
Exactly.
You know,
but-
like in the Mario and the Wii. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead,
It's
go
kind
ahead.
of like the first Mario Galaxy, and they changed this in the second one. The multiplayer was just the second player collecting stars, right?
Right.
And that's just like so that your little brother can have something to do.
Exactly.
You know? And it's kind of mean. You know, it's, in a way.
In some respects it's mean,
Yeah.
but at the same time it gives them something that they can do that's at their level. You couldn't play Super Mario World for the Wii with your little brother because
but at the same time-
you'd end up so frustrated you'd throw him off the cliff.
Super Mario Brothers for the Wii. Super Mario Wii U, or whatever it was called, was unplayable because it was multiplayer. Because one of the main aspects was, there's so much going on, I can't see where I'm going, and the jumping is so precise that if you miss it by even a little bit, you're going to die. Not to mention, some of the fun of Mario was going into the tubes. I can't do that anymore because I got to stick with the other 3 people I'm playing with.
This reminds me of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube. Oddly enough, I've heard my cousins complain that you need to have more people playing with you. Otherwise, it's not as fun as it could be. Also, the Wii U controller itself, right? It reminds me of like the fact that people used to have to hook up their Game Boy Advance to the GameCube to play Crystal Chronicles, and it was an interesting gimmick back then. But now with the addition of touchscreen, I'm not too sure as an older gamer would I be really interested in having such a peripheral when the previous experience with it was quite a hassle. It's like,
But for the DS and one of the Wii's, I think it was Wii or Xbox, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was Wii. Pokemon games, you can actually like play your Pokemon, like connect your DS to the game, to the Wii.
Oh right,
and then
it
you
was
can
in one
play-
of the stadium games.
Yeah.
Oh, you can actually do that with the N64 too, if you had the expansion pack, I think.
Yeah,
or
but the thing
you
with
can you can hook up your
It was a
cartridge.
Game
But the
Boy
thing with the
cartridge.
DS is it's completely wireless.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's like a new aspect, and
Right.
that was really, really cool as well. And the whole wireless controller was such a brilliant idea. I mean, you have that in the Xbox too, because you always had this, especially with me, we're a family of like, well, we're 5, but like each of us had 4 when we were playing. So even
Right.
like growing up with like 4 controllers and always getting them tangled, it was such a big hassle. And also you move around a lot, especially, you know, like, in your face and whatnot. It was just like,
Exactly, you're leaning into the person
That
next
was-
to you because you want to run faster.
and the biggest frustration would be like, yes, and then, you know, the whole game freezes.
that's true. Yeah.
Exactly, the whole thing just tugs it.
This is
Yeah.
one of the huge complaints the Video Game Society that I was part of had. A lot of the members learned to finally play games stationary, not moving around, because their siblings complained that they would untangle all the wires.
Mhm.
Then the Wii came out,
And
and
then you have to
then
move
suddenly you're like you're actually encouraged to move around. So all those months of learning to
But-
play stationary,
But
was just,
even
like,
then, you
thrown out
didn't
the drain.
have to move around.
You could
Because,
just.
Because you don't get anything tangled anymore.
the thing is, my older brother proved it when the first time he picked up Wii Sport. He started playing baseball. He's just like, okay, so I need to pitch, and he literally just sat down and he flicked his wrist, and literally it was on the strap, and he just let go of the controller. He got the record speed on the pitch.
I think it's just a generation thing as well, though.
Oh,
It might be because
but
my little brother, who sorry, I keep talking about him, but like I said, perfect generation, like.
But that is the generation that this is aimed towards.
But-
So
Yeah,
it's
so
an
the
apt
difference
example.
between him is that he definitely moves around even when you don't need it. Like, say if you're playing Super Mario Party, you just need to shake it. But even then, he's like on
Yeah.
his toes jumping around. So when we play N64, we go back to play the N64, I'm sorry. Just gonna finish my story.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's the one who actually starts pulling at the controllers because he's not used to, like, staying stationary like we are.
Well, he's a
Yeah.
child. Of course he's gonna.
I'd just like to say we're also briefing the Wii a lot here. We're actually supposed to be talking more about the Wii
The
U.
Wii U, yes.
Oh, the Wii U.
But
the screen.
the thing is, it is changing all
When
of
you
that.
have a little
It
kid,
is changing, but it's
Yeah.
still a controller.
I
It still
do-
has buttons for
No,
you to
I do
That's
have
what-
one thing to say
go
about
ahead,
the
go ahead.
screen. My small cousins, I've got 4 of them that visit like bi-weekly. What they've been doing is they've completely destroyed screens for the DS and the 3DS
Oh, yes.
because they're too dumb to realize that you don't have to actually use the stylus on the screen.
Oh yeah, you
use
can
your
use a
fingers.
stylus
Yeah.
with that Wii U
So,
controller too.
They
yeah,
didn't have
it comes
screen-
with a stylus.
They didn't realize
No,
that it
it's-
doesn't matter how
it's
much
not, like,
screen
huge.
protection you have. Once you have a small child around like 10 to 12 that doesn't care about reading, because we're at the generation where people are like, I just want to watch it on YouTube.
Well,
Anyway,
that's gonna go into my Sony one
Yeah.
because Sony came out with something where you
they'll
don't
take
read with a
random
book.
pens around the house and just ruin
Oh.
beautiful screens.
Oh,
So it's
That's
not.
terrible.
Of course, the pens are dead. Don't worry. But it's
No, but
because
even
it's
if they
a tip, it
are,
just
point, yeah.
scratches.
yeah.
So
That's-
marvelous.
Yeah, but that goes to carelessness on their part and the fact that they're not taught to take care of things.
Oh, they're taught to take care of things. They just don't
it
care.
really doesn't sound
about
like
you.
that because
Well, no,
I
but-
had
Yeah.
crappy phones and I showed people my phones and it's like I had this fun phone for 3 years. It was my first phone and it was a crappy phone. And the guy went to me, it's like, how did you keep this in good condition? I'm like, I took care of it.
Yeah, but the thing about
Alright.
kids is
They-
that,
like-
like, even if you tell
This
them,
was me at 14.
They're also
14
guaranteed to
is not
drop
a kid.
the controllers.
14 is kind of
No, it's
14
not.
it's not.
14-year-olds are dating now. That's not a kid anymore.
I mean, they are kind of. They're that in
They're
between
8-year-olds.
age, but like 8-year-olds, like in between.
Yeah,
That's puppy love, it doesn't
five,
count.
8 through 13.
Yeah,
You,
they're.
you have that. I'm so lazy. I'll just
So I'm
use
1
pen.
year out of the loop.
Oops. It is. No, 13 is iffy. It's like 12, 13, 14 is.
A
kind of
mature,
like-
a mature
Yeah.
13-year-old can do it.
Yeah,
But-
Yeah.
it's like it's
One
like
that
Yeah,
reads
the average
instructions.
13.
But some kids at that age are still mature and they do learn to take care of their things.
Some, but that is
They
very
do.
situational.
That's
That is
Pens are
down to
dead.
the child.
It's
But
just, it's still
back
scratches.
to the conference.